Welcome to the day. It's just a matter of hours now until the first polling stations open in the US presidential election. And after months of campaigning, the polls indicate a race that is still too close to call between the Vice President, Kamala Harris, and former President Donald Trump. The candidates have spent the final day before Election Day trying to rally supporters in what are expected to be the decisive swing states. It's thought the election will come down to which side does a better job of getting their supporters to actually turn out and vote. Surveys show US voters' top concerns are the economy and immigration, issues which Donald Trump has campaigned on and tried to profit from. But in the final days of this campaign, his remarks about women and other groups have been seized on by his opponent, Kamala Harris, who has sought to remind voters why she says Mr. Trump is unfit for office.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots of other things.
So he said that he will do what he wants, now I'm about to quote, whether the women like it or not. This is the same person who said that women should be punished for their choices.
Well, Peter Matthews is a professor of political science at Cypress College in Long Beach, California. 2 years ago, he was a Democratic candidate for Congress. Welcome back to DW, Professor. So the polls say the race has been tied for weeks. Why do you think neither candidate has been able to gain even a slight advantage?
Well, this is a divided country, as you know, and people are on two sides here about what type of country they want, Trumpian version or Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris's version. And it's very strong feelings on both sides. But I must say that if you look at the certain groups within that polling, you'll find that Ms. Kamala Harris has actually gained a lot of support with women, especially above the age of 65. But women voters who are college educated are flocking to her in larger numbers. And then Trump has gathered support among young men, mainly African-American and Latino young men. So one group is a higher turnout group than the other. So there may be some shifting going on that we can't see in the polls right now, depending on who will turn out on the election day. And the swing states are the key, as you know. We can talk about that in a few minutes. Right.
Let's just stay with the points that you raised there. What is the appeal? Why is Trump appealing to men? Why is Harris appealing to women?
Well, Harris appealing to women because, first of all, the issue of choice on abortion, for example, that's the biggest issue for women, but also the issue of being able to control their own futures and having economic support for that. Vice President Harris actually put forward programs, especially on the choice issue, that will guarantee to reverse the Roe v. Wade decision, allow American women to try to have a choice on abortion and control their reproductive freedom across the country.
And then
that's why, but with the men, with Trump with the men, he's putting forth an image of machismo, some kind of that men have to stand up for their rights, that they've been trampled upon, etc. And he's trying to going on these these radio shows that are mostly young men, 19 to 30, and those men are feel maybe aggrieved in some ways or left out. And he's trying to reach them and get them to support him and saying he'll make them great again. And I think that's appealing to some of them. And the numbers are interesting. She has an advantage of 16 points with the women, which is a larger group, and he has an advantage of about 18 points with the men, which is a smaller group. So we'll see how that balances out. So 34% gender gap, biggest in our modern history.
In such a closely fought and contentious contest, do you see it being decided at the ballot box or perhaps in the Supreme Court, like the 2000 hanging Chads election that George W. Bush won?
Yes, we sure remember that, and that was quite a mess. But I do believe that the ballot will make a big difference because of the swing states. Certain voters will come out, for example, the Puerto Rican American voters who were offended by the comments coming out at Trump's rally about Puerto Rico being an island of garbage. It's been fired up there. There are about 400,000 Puerto Rican voters in Pennsylvania, the top swing state. Those people might just show up in larger numbers than what was expected.
Yeah, lots of Puerto Ricans, though, coming out in favor of Trump, though, aren't there? Lots of Puerto Ricans, when Trump talks about immigration and migrants, they say, he's not talking about me.
Some of them are coming out for him. The majority are not. And it's like the Latino community. The majority of them, about 60% now, are for Kamala Harris. and about 40% for Trump, which is still a large, that's actually an achievement for Trump compared to the past, with Biden and Trump on either hand, was even larger. So I would say some of the Latino community, men especially, are coming out for Trump, but the larger numbers for Harris at this point, that's going to make a difference. It's going to be very close. I cannot guarantee who's going to win at this point, to be honest with you.
And so, what sort of role do you see the courts playing? Because we've seen Team Trump sort of getting ready to contest and rectify the mistakes they made last time when they went to court and kept losing these cases.
They lost all the cases, 62 of them last time, but now they're preparing, and I don't know if they're going to be successful this time again. I don't think so, but they could hold up the whole works by challenging these the results in court, and they're hoping to have courts that'll be favorable toward them, ruling in their favor. But I'm not really thinking that the courts will do that this time. They're probably going to let it happen with the way the certification goes, and we'll have to wait and see if they get more involved or not. But he's going to challenge it. He's trying to destabilize the results, to say that if he doesn't win, there was cheating. He's actually come out and said that. He said he'll accept the results if he wins. So that's not a good way to look at democracy.
Okay. Let's then talk about the night. When we're watching the election returns come in on Tuesday night, where will you be looking to for the first clues to the results?
I'll be looking at the East Coast, of course. Those are 3 hours ahead, and those polls will close earlier. I'll be looking for North Carolina, particularly. It looks like Vice President Harris has actually caught up to Trump there, but Trump may be ahead in some polls by 1 or 2%, more like 1%. North Carolina, we'll be looking to Georgia, that's East Coast state, which is huge. If she wins Georgia and North Carolina and Pennsylvania, she's on the road to winning, actually. Of course, the blue wall states include Michigan. That's also on the in the Midwest. And I'll be looking at those states first, the swing states, to see how the numbers are adding up and who's voting. So that'll be very interesting and challenging for us to come up with a result early. It won't be till Wednesday before we'll understand who actually has won the election.
Donald Trump's rhetoric in the closing days has included some references to violence against opponents such as Liz Cheney and against the media. How concerned are you about the possibility of unrest if this election is as close as the polls suggest?
I am concerned about it, as many other people are analyzing it are concerned, because this is uncalled for. It's not allowed, should not be allowed in democracy for candidates to talk this way. When he talks about Liz Cheney and refers to guns and rifles, and he also talks about the media and him getting shot at through the media, or the media will be there in front of him. It's a terrible kind of ethos he's bringing up, and democracy requires that the losing side accept the results so the rule of law can be implemented. In this case, he's destabilizing it with those kinds of comments. I'm very concerned that some of these lone wolves, if not a group of people that support him, might take things in their own hands if they lose, and it'll be very dangerous for America. And people should be prepared, and so should the government, to handle this kind of thing.
Let's not forget the other elections for Congress, which the next president will have to work with to get legislation passed. How is that fight for control shaping up?
It's looking quite competitive, actually. And there's a chance that the Democrats could take back the House, because they only have to win a few seats, like 3 or 4 seats, to actually become the majority party in the House. And the Senate, they're going to hold on to those seats. Again, it has to do with the swing states, and also the fact that right now the generic polls are saying most American people want the Democrats to be the majority party. But it'll be very interesting to see if Harris actually gets his or her own party to back her by winning. It's going to be a very close contest in the various races. But Trump is not helping those down ballot races to do well, because he's coming up with some very unusual comments that really turn off a lot of people.
Okay, thanks for talking us through that, Peter. Professor Peter Matthews from Cyprus College. Many thanks.
My pleasure. Thank you.